Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz, January 25, 2020, 7:33 p.m. in Birmingham. And topic, and of course, I'm going to talk some more about what we just finished, but I want to bring you up on the copper scroll, the gold that they found in chambers so many feet underground, and the chambers are so big, by Jim Barfield and Shelley Neese. And if you haven't heard about that, I urge you to go and look them up on YouTube. Jim Barfield, Shelley Neese, and the temple implements, or the temple gold. Let's see, the third temple, and it's YouTube. Very good story. There was an update this week, and Jim Barfield was on Skywatch TV, and very interesting. And the scroll is a little over 7 feet long, a foot wide, and the scroll was copper and chiseled out the entire details of the first temple, every implement that went in the temple, from the tiniest item all the way up to the Ark of the Covenant. Everything. And then at the end of the scroll, even the places where all these things were hidden. Now, at what time this scroll was typed out, I believe most of it was at the first temple, and then where the third or second temple was destroyed. I think prior to that, they had already removed the implements because they knew of its pending destruction in 70 AD. So this copper scroll tells them where these things are. Of course, God knows, and the copper scrolls had always been hidden away until recently. And I say recent, perhaps past 10 or 12 years, but with the help of Barfield and Neese, they found the locations of everything except possibly the Ark of the Covenant. And it is always very near the Temple Mount site anyway. It never left that. Just God has it hidden in a really tight, good place. But it's very interesting to go in and listen to them talk about it. And so they have come up with, somebody asked them a lot of different questions about the implements. What is there? Well, they can see the chambers and they can read the scrolls. It's ancient Hebrew. And by their guesstimate, at today's money, there's gold, just gold, and we're not talking about price, say, for a menorah or a price for a harp or other implements that may be there. They would price independently far more than the weight of the gold itself, and you know that. But the weight of the gold itself, just the gold, at today's money is excess of $1 billion. Just the weight of the gold, just to sell the gold, and not the implement, which would sell for probably bring 2 to 3 billion for it all if it were to sell. But they said the weight of the gold alone would change the price in gold had it hit the market. And that's really the way they laid that out. And you find that on the latest Barfield Skywatch TV with Derek Gilbert. That's interesting if you listen to that. And so I wanted to tell you kind of where the temple talk was. And by the way, the temple sits across the street from the site where the temple is to go, and it's a Temple Institute. All you got to do is look it up, Temple Institute, and sign up, and you'll get a newsletter from them like 2 or 3 a week, and it tells you all about the updates. And about the clothing that's already made. Everyone's already been fitted. And they even have the name, according to the Bible, of the main person who will be the communicator between God and us. His name is Cohen. And even the ephod, the breastplate of the emeralds, all the jewels, is there with the rest of the things, the rest of the gold and silver and the implements in the temple. It's there. It's all there. It's all hidden away safely. And it's nearby, by the way. And somebody asked them just today, I heard it for the first time, how long would it take you to build the temple if you got an okay today? He said, give us 90 days. That's quick. He said, we have the animals ready for sacrifice today. He said, we are ready. And this is one of the higher ups, rabbis that's just standing on wait and go for the temple. In the second part of the story, how soon could the temple be built? And I mean, when is the date? I'm going to throw something out there that I have not heard. But you can get an idea if you go back to the last blog, or blog before, Russia's Putin's master chess play. And I believe that Putin is well versed in biblical knowledge, that he was raised by a Jewish family. He knows what Ezekiel 38 says. He knows that if he's going to send his crew over to attack the Jews, that they're going to die. He knows that. And I think it's his master plan that he not be involved in it. I think Medved will. I don't think, and like I said, I believe that Putin, he says he's a Christian. He may be, and that might be why he wants to, he's gone to lengths to hurt the Jews, but he has not once bombed them. And I don't believe he ever will. I'm not saying that about Russia in general. So going by that, just say that we're indeed in the last 10 years, which leaves us 8.5 years of that 10 left to end their 80th year, which would be 80-year generation. 10 more years if by good measure and faith from 70. So it's got to be 80. And so 80 would mean that the final 7 years will begin somewhere around May or June in 2021. You got to remember that. That's 2021, sometime around May or June, the final 7 years will begin. Well, just say there is a Ezekiel 38 war that'll begin about that time. The church will be taken out, raptured, will be taken to safety, because right after that will be a perfect time for Israel, because they'll have the might, because their God just hands down bars none. He wiped out this war and destroyed 5 out of 6 of all those who entered into that war against the Jews. America, we're not even included in the Bible. We're not talked about. We're not in that war. Why? Because the church has left. And those left here don't give a rat's butt about Israel. They're not going to be there to help them. And that, I'm going to go ahead and add to it, these people who are changing our laws to help destroy our country, eat it from within with a cancer that they planted by taking away the prayer from schools. And now they're even allowing children to disobey the teachers and even talk back at them without any repercussion. You can't call their parents. This is September 2020. After that, you don't call the parents. There's no punishment for that. After that, you know the schools are going to fall apart. And I believe it won't be long after that the church doesn't have to wait till Ezekiel 38 to begin. That's why I urge you all to make sure that your children at the age of accountability, and like I said, that could be a young age, know that Jesus is their Lord and Savior. Because the church could be yanked out anytime. And God, you don't want that. The most important decisions that any person will make in their entire life, two things. Number one, the most important decision you can ever make, there's not one more important, is your salvation. Do you trust God? Do you trust that Jesus was your Lord and Savior? It's your soul. Decision to save your soul is your most important decision you'll ever make. The second most important will be who you're going to marry. Go knock yourself out and check them out, but you won't find two decisions more important than those two in your life. And guys, calling out to the Lord in John 3:16 is the most important, and especially for your children today, because they're not teaching it in schools. They can't pray in schools, and even the churches, the friggin' altar calls are getting so short. There's people that'll sit there, and if they had one more minute, just another verse of that song, they would have gotten up and gone to the front and kneeled down and accepted Christ. One more minute is all some people need. Give them that minute, y'all. Give them that one more minute. But it's going to be the most important decision anybody will ever make. And that door of opportunity, that door of free salvation, that grace period is about to close. You're in a grace period now where it's free. When it closes, then it will cost you your life to become a Christian. Today it's free. Next week it may not be. Jody Wolf Expoz.